The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, available on DAZN. Mr. Francis Warren joins me.
Mate, you good? Nice
in
to
Riyadh. I'm good, mate. More importantly, how are you ahead of a pretty big week for Mr. Sam Noakes?
It's been quite a journey, and just very proud to be here with him on his world title fight week, and he's very calm, cool, collected this week, and it's probably one more day of prep to go, and then that's it. He's in a great frame of mind. Team are all in good spirits, and I think it's just a testament to the hard work that they do down at the iBox. How confident he is, how confident Al and Eddie are, and all the guys. Jordan and everyone's done a fantastic. Harry Andrews all done a fantastic job with him, and you just see he's in the shape of his life, smiling away, but he's got that edge creeping in as he does. Obviously gets nearer the fight, and he's here for business, and he definitely will mean business Saturday night.
Yeah, he said to me, when my family come, they know it's not, oh, hi, welcome, going to be a good week, saying all this hugs and kisses and that. They know that he's in fight mode.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like about Sam? Right, there's just no bullshit. He's never got on camera and gone, you're this, you're that, tried to create a fake hype. He's got in the ring, listened to what he's had to do, and it's got him to where he is now for this world title fight. So it's a bit of a shining example to young fighters. You don't have to act like someone you're not to get what you want.
Well, he was always a popular guy, to start with, and I think obviously that massively helps. But what really helps Sam the most, I think, is the fact that his mum and dad and his family around him, they're all very much the same. They're all very similar. They're all genuinely lovely people, and that shines through in Sam and Sean completely. That's not to say Sam never gets the ump, because he will let you know if he gets the ump, right? But in the same vein, he'll always show his appreciation for things, and he'll always make sure that everyone knows that he's everyone does know how much of a hard worker he is. So I think everyone appreciates him that much more. As I said, he's a popular guy, so he's not trying to sell himself to generate the masses to come and watch him. I think he's got a real decent turnout coming over. And he's let his boxing do the talking and his own personality shine through, and it's got him to challenge him for a world title as the mandatory challenger to Abdullah for the vacant title. British, Commonwealth, European champion, multiple other international title defences. He's just been on the up and up since day one. He's come through two really tough tests. It's Mendy and Ryan Walsh. And on those nights, what gives me the great confidence on Saturday night that he's definitely ready for this is that he boxed to orders, and that's a shining proof that we needed, that him and Al are on the same wavelength, and that he boxes to orders. And he's going to have to be on the top of his game on Saturday. But I really do feel like he comes through it just because of all the attributes he's displayed over the past 6-7 years. Even through COVID, all the other fighters and the whole of the boxing industry that pretty much shut down. He didn't moan. He got on with it. He kept his head down. Had a couple of fights. Tested positive for COVID. Didn't moan about it. Went home. Isolated. Everything he does with little or no fuss until he fights, and then it's all about action.
Yeah. Look, Abdullah Mason's hit the deck before. I know you can't bank on things like that, but there's a vulnerability, and it gives us a talking point as well, especially against a banger like Sam. Look, if Sam's to win this fight, is it one that has to go inside the distance?
I think both guys would be expecting that. Abdullah's not coming over here expecting to lose, so both guys are expecting a knockout. I think would have prepared for 12 rounds for sure. This is high level elite world championship boxing. I think both guys, with their knockout records, I think between the two of them, they've got three points victories in 36, 7 fights. So it would be probably a sensible bookie's decision to put this down as a likely knockout victory for either guy. Obviously, we're backing Sam. I'm backing Sam to the hilt. But yeah, I think it's probably a safe bet to say that the judges be having a night off.
Yeah. Maybe we're all backing Sam. We need male world champions in the UK, and there's not enough. There used to be way more we're all backing Sam to go and do the business.
Because they've all been tied up by these guys who are unified. So they've swallowed them all up. But it's cyclical. This world title. I mean, I remember a few years ago, Britain didn't have any in the mid 2000s, or very few in the mid 2000s. In the mid 2010s, there was an abundance of the guys. 14
or 15.
It's very cyclical, and it's a case of. And I tell you what, British boxing does do though. When we need some stars to shine through, and when we need guys to step up to the plate, they do, and all of a sudden you'll end up with 10, 12, 14 again. So I think it's just a case of there's a crop of fighters coming through that are just about to all seize their opportunities. Fabio got elevated yesterday. I'm not going to run through the list because it's far too. It's a longer conversation, but I think we're going to get another one on Saturday.
Yeah. Hopefully another 2 with Mr. Anthony Yard as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
You mentioned
it's a very tough fight for Anthony, but definitely winnable.
Fight, yeah.
Definitely winnable.
Yeah. You mentioned Fabio Wardley. News late last night that Oleksandr Usyk vacated the WBO. He is elevated to full champion status. Did you expect that from Oleksandr Usyk, or did you expect Usyk Wardley to be a fight in early 2026?
Always hoped it for Fabio. It's he stepped up to the plate, didn't have to box Joseph Parker, took the bull by the horns and came out victorious, and that was the promise of, or the potential promise of, for the winner of that fight. And I think Fabio will be slightly disappointed. However, he's now full world champion, and the world's his oyster. He's got options. And
I guess you can be a victim of your own timing as well. As people will say, well, he hasn't won that world title. If Usyk had vacated this 2 weeks before Parker Wardley, it would have been for the world title.
The fights Fabio's gone through, he fully deserved to be world champion. If it weren't for Usyk, he would have been fighting for a world title. So, and you got, and that's where we're at with it. Usyk, you're probably catching him 2 or 3 years too late in terms of the fact that he doesn't want to take fights that aren't those mega fights, and Fabio is probably just 2 or 3 fights short of falling into that category to be doing that. So I understand why Oleksandr's done it. I get Fabio would be disappointed, but I'm sure as and when his next fight gets announced, he'll be very proud, be a very proud world champion, and Usyk will fade into distant memory. For Fabio, not for boxing.
Yeah, definitely not for boxing. Moses Itauma was ranked as good as you can get without being the champion with the WBO. Do we write that fight off as long as they're still in the same camp? Is that how it works?
No, I mean, anything's possible in boxing, but until it's...
Ben Davison to do a round each?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things that needs to be addressed as and when, because things can get said, and if you're just looking at the 2 guys, I think it's 2 guys who probably wouldn't stand down from fighting anybody, including each other. So if it's left to Fab and Moses, they'll probably go, yeah, no problem, let's do it. But obviously there's a lot more to discuss than that, notably the fact that they're in the same, probably. But yeah, I think you let Fab enjoy this moment, and you let and you allow him to let the dust settle and see where his next fight lands. Moses has got a big fight against Jermaine Franklin coming up, so that'll be his full focus, and we'll see what 2026 brings. But for sure, the home of the heavyweights is in the UK, and that addresses Queensberry Promotions 100%, because all the guys are there.
I know Filip Hrgović, I think, is next in line. Keith Connolly come out last night and said, look, it's a cracking fight, let's make it. Of course, he's going to say that as Hrgovic's manager. I like that. Wardley-Hrgović, look at his last 2 fights with Joe and with David Adelaide. Wardley-Hrgović has got something nice about it. That's a cracking fight.
Definitely has. I mean, Hrgović didn't want anything to do with Moses. That was a fact towards the end of last year. I think my dad was quoted as saying there's 2 ways of not taking a fight. Just say you don't want it, or ask for trillions of pounds or something ridiculous. So, Philip had a good win over David Adelaide, and he's always going to add value to any contest, and he always brings an interesting press build up fight week, and always brings it on the night. So wherever these guys land and whatever fights they land in, they're always going to be entertaining, because they are the top at the top of the game.
Yeah. In terms of Moses in this fight with Jermaine Franklin, the whole narrative is he needs rounds, and you can argue that be true, but he also needs someone that's not just going to come and be a punch bag for those rounds. He needs someone that's got ambition of their own, and in Jermaine Franklin, with the lack of US heavyweights really at the moment, Wilder on the way out, Miller's quite inactive. With Jermaine Franklin, he's got someone that has his own ambition.
Well, he's had a win or two, hasn't he, Franklin, since those defeats in the UK a couple of years ago. He'll be thinking he can come and upset the apple cart, and then he will replace Moses as number one, and then he's next in line for a shot. It's all the guys that fight at the top of the tree. If they've got some currency, whether it's a mandatory position or a number one spot, or an interim title, or indeed a world title, that's currency in boxing, and you can entice people into fights that otherwise you may not have been able to. We did try and make the Matt Franklin fight last year, but now he's had a win and probably feels a bit more confident, probably demanded a few more quid, and here we are. But it's a fight Moses has wanted. Ben and Lee identified this as a fight that would be good for Moses' career. I agree, Queensberry agree, and most importantly Moses agrees. So that's the route that we've gone down. We've resurrected the fight, and it's on for January 24th.
Yeah, just finally on Moses, it's no secret that heavyweights have been offered the fight and, like you said, gone, I want extortionate money, or I just kind of don't fancy the potential of fighting someone who is very good and also younger than me, perhaps a bit of an ego thing to do what he's doing at his age and the way he's dismantling people. I can kind of see it. But in 2026 is the direction, look, just take whatever big fight we can get, because he'll be going into them fights capable and confident of winning. So let's just take a fight that comes up and get him into that best spot, because there are people that are a bit like, don't really want to fight Moses, so take what you can.
I think, you're right in saying, in his age, that nobody wants to get beat by a 20-year-old. But I've just said he's got currency. He's 3 with a BC. He's up there. He's 1 with a BA. He's 1 with a BO. He's highly ranked with the IBF. I don't think if the Dubois and Sanchez thing didn't materialise. It was ordered to fight Sanchez. It's just not a fight that really interests us as a team at the moment. So he's up there and mixing it with all the governing bodies. So therefore, he has that currency that I was just talking about. So it's not just fighting a 20-year-old now who's potentially head and shoulders above anyone else who's ever been, at 20 years old. He's been around now as well, so I think it's not, people aren't viewing him as a 20-year-old prospect. He's now up there with the guys, so I think he's probably on a level playing field with these guys now, certainly in terms of ability, but also in terms of what he can deliver from at least giving him a good fight, and let alone beating him. So I think it's not like there's any shame in getting beat by Moses, but we certainly shame people who turn it down.
Right, final one, because I don't want your food to get cold. I don't know if you've ordered, but I don't want there to be some freezing cold spaghetti waiting for
right.
you.
No spaghetti, mate. I'm on fight week for everyone, No spaghetti till Friday night.
Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Not Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul, the A-side.
Yeah.
Your initial
It's the most exciting 8-rounder that's ever been put out there.
Is it? Is it the biggest 8-rounder ever? It must be.
Of course, it's got to be. It has to be.
Do you know what? Can I say? I remember when I first started working in boxing, I spoke to you about KSI Logan Paul
I'll give you some
for
shit,
IFL, and you were like that. You meant to be a fucking boxing journalist, and I'm pretty sure it was like my first Queensbury presser.
I didn't swear.
My first Queensbury presser. I might have made up the swear word. I don't know, but the intent was there, and I went home and thought, I probably should be asking about KSI versus Logan Paul.
You proved me wrong because it was a valid question. It was a valid question based on what's come later. Obviously, I think as boxing purists go, it used to get on everyone's nerves a bit, but it's stayed the course, proved very, very popular, and proved you right. So congratulations on that one, and hold my hands up. Jake Paul's an absolute powerhouse of being able to pull in a crowd. Anthony Joshua's been there, done it, seen it twice, and he's undoubtedly one of British boxing's greatest sons. What do you say? I'm quite a bit lost for words, but Anthony's on Jake's in a win-win situation. I think Anthony may go in there and do some serious damage, but who knows what happens? And I think, as everyone was talking about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, this is a completely sort of different playing field, because obviously Anthony's actually an active potential challenger to the current crop of world champions, but he's having this hiatus to go and fight Jake Paul, who's a who's an absolute enigma of a guy, and a master of his art, which is drawing in a crowd and talking up a fight. I mean, I heard him say yesterday that Joshua's got no skills and he can knock him out. So
when he told me after Usyk Dubois, he went, by the way, AJ's got a weak chin. I was like,
so we'll see, won't we? I think it's one of them. There's not. I mean, you can go around in circles saying it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. The fact of the matter is, it's happening, and I think everyone should embrace it and see what happens. I mean, it may be a complete disaster for Jake Paul. It could be a complete disaster for AJ. But both one thing's for certain: they're going to earn an absolute fortune out of it. The crowd will be entertained. Jake's fans will be entertained. Anthony Joshua's fans will be biting their teeth, and I think that's the way it goes. I just hope both guys come out safe.
Yeah, I know people are going on about, does it diminish a legacy? I think that's a bit much considering, his boxing achievements in the sport of boxing.
Like Tyson did it, didn't he? He went to Japan and
Muhammad Ali had
Muhammad Ali.
Against a sumo
I meant to say Muhammad Ali did it and went and had an exhibition. So the fact that she's going on a professional record probably legitimises it as a fight. But I don't want to call it an exhibition, but it is exhibiting the crazy side of boxing, I suppose. You might say, but it's a tricky one to comment on too much, because whether you agree with it or not, it's happening, and I will watch it. And that's the intrigue of it. Yeah. That's the intrigue of it. So, just hope both guys come out safe.
Yeah, mate, who won't watch it? Final one: if I put a gun to your head, or someone put a gun to your head, I don't have one on me, so I'm not going to do it. Does Fury Joshua happen in 2026?
I really, really hope so. I really, really hope so. And let's just hope Jake doesn't upset the apple cart.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.